What it do, baby? It's your boy Tyrik Wynn. Y'all are tuning in to another episode of NJP, Navigating Journalism Podcast. Hey, we back with another episode, baby. And yes, I still got the same shirt on, filming multiple episodes in one day. I was a little lazy, didn't feel like changing. And we are broadcasting from the one and only, the amazing place in all of the entire state of Georgia. It's Wynn Productions LLC studio right here in Fayetteville, Georgia, man. And I am filming in the Tyrik Wynn podcast studio, the podcast studio that was named after me once we put this amazing studio together. If you're interested in renting studio space, you can give us a call at 754-225-2805, 754-225-2805, or you can send us an email at contact@wynnproductionsllc.com. Then that's how you can contact us and you can rent some studio space, or if you're interested in video production, all that good stuff. Got to put my own ad in there. So what are we talking about on this episode of NJP? Well, I've had a lot of people ask me about what my experience was like covering the Trump surrender, right? Because that was a big thing that was here in Atlanta. Literally history was made. And so I want to talk to y'all a little bit about what that experience was like, what took place, everything that y'all didn't see on camera, all the behind the scenes stuff. We're going to get into it. We're going to talk about it a little bit. So this is what happened, right? So I had the amazing idea, because I'm in radio and I'm an anchor. So I haven't really had many opportunities to like go out in the field and cover stories. And I told my news director, I was like, I need to be out there covering this story. I have to be there. So I told him, I was like, Matt, I gotta be on the scene, man. I everybody's gonna be out there covering this story. Ty got to be out there. And I know it's gonna be hot. It's gonna be hot, son. But I got to be out there anyway. So I told him, I was like, I'm going. So he got me my mic flags and stuff. I got a mic flag because I was doing dual coverage for iHeartRadio. I was doing coverage for Georgia News Network, 24/7 News, and then also coverage for Black Information Network. So GNN, 24/7 News, and Black Information Network, right? So I was doing dual coverage for them. So I was getting audio together, audio interviews, all that good stuff, doing a couple of anchor voicers and anchor reps for GNN and stuff. And then I was also doing videos and video stand-ups for the Black Information Network social media interviews for them as well. So I was doing all that stuff. And my day started actually at 3 a.m. My day started at 3 a.m. So I got out the bed at 3 a.m. And when I got out the bed, of course, shower, brush teeth, all that stuff, got ready, picked out a nice suit to wear. Real nice suit, right? Picked out a nice suit to wear. And I got out on the scene probably about 4:45, 4:50, or left the house about 4. I got on the scene about 4:45, 4:50, whatever. And got to the Fulton County Jail. First of all, I just want to say I had one of the best parking spots out there because I got there early. So that was the great thing. And it was funny because I told my news director, he told me, because he had the idea for me to get there at 5. I didn't plan on getting there until 10 o'clock, 10 o'clock. So, and I am so glad. Shout out to you, Matt, for telling me to be there at 5. Because if I wasn't there at 5 and I got there at 10, I would have had no parking spot. The Fulton County sheriffs would have been just giving me such a hard time trying to get in the midst of everything, which I'm going to talk about them Fulton County sheriffs in a little bit too. They need to be talked about. They're going to get talked about. So I got out there at 5, right? Parked the car and stuff. So I got a great parking spot. Literally would take me about 2 minutes to get from the car to the spot I was reporting at. So once I got there, first thing I did was I had to mark my territory. So I had these signs. I made me some signs, iHeartRadio across the top. Then I had Georgia News Network, 24/7 News, Black Information Network. Then I found a spot. I was next to, shout out to Billy Heath and what was that? Brooke Zonner, Billy Heath and Brooke Zonner from Fox 5 Atlanta. I was set up right next to them. They had their tent, and then I had my spot on the other side. And then also shout out to the people at News Nation too. So I was in between Fox 5 Atlanta and News Nation out there. We were on the side of Jefferson Street. And we were all set up, man. Everybody was so nice, yo. Like, everybody was so nice. Like, Tyrik, you need any water? Hey, listen, if you get too hot, you can come stand under our tent. We got electricity. If you need any power electricity, you use our extension cord. Like, everybody was so nice. Like, it was literally Southern hospitality out there, man. So, which really just made it easy. It just made everything so much easier, made life so much better. And so I got there, my news director, because I told my news director, just communicate throughout the day and stuff and communicate with the other anchors and stuff. So we started communicating around 6 a.m. Told him I got there about 5. We started communicating around 6 a.m. Then he had sent me a script for me to voice. So I voiced that script and I sent it back into the news station. Then once I did that, he told me to get some MOS. For those of you guys who don't know what MOS is, MOS stands for Man on Street. So Man on Street interviews, which is basically Trump supporters, or it might be some anti-Trump supporters out there as well. So I remember the first Trump interview I got was actually a guy. He was driving up and down the street with his Trump truck, and he also had a Trump trailer. So he was driving up and down the street, and I said, "Excuse me, sir, can I interview you right quick?" And so I went up to the car and he allowed me to interview him. And so we was interviewing, man. He was giving me a great interview. So I was like, I think my first question was, what brings you out today? He was like, the former president turned himself in. And I said, okay. And so then we just continued the conversation and stuff. It was a really good conversation. I was able to ask him some questions and get his opinions and stuff. So on his Trump trailer, he actually had a jail cell, and in the jail cell, it had President Obama, it had Hillary Clinton, had Vice President Kamala Harris, it had Joe Biden, and I think it had Nancy Pelosi in there too, and then Trump on the opposite side of the cell bars. He was like, Trump doesn't need to be in jail. Them the people that need to be in there. And so that's what he said. And so in the midst of that interview, we get into the sheriffs now, right? So here come a sheriff. He pull up right beside him. He like, y'all can't be in the street. Y'all need to move. I'm like, interviews are like 2 to 3 minutes. Just let me finish my interview, and then we'll be happy to move. First of all, there's nobody on this street. Like, there's literally nobody on the street. I've probably seen, since I've been out there, maybe about 10 cars pass through since I had been out there that morning, because nobody was really going on that street. And it's not Jefferson Street is really not that popular of a street in the city. So nobody was really going up and down the street. So I'm like, we're not in the way. We're not doing anything. So that was when I really started to get annoyed, right? So from there, that happened, right? And so, his interview got cut short. Then I went and started doing my stand-up, right? So I did my stand-up because I had to do a stand-up for, like I said, I was doing Black and dual coverage. So I did my stand-up for Black Information Network. And I wanted to, there was a bus that was, it's kind of funny because it kind of makes me think about the MARTA and the Georgia Dome implosion or whatever. But y'all remember that story. But there was a bus that was blocking me from reporting in front of the jail sign. So what I did was I went across the street, went to the other side, went in the grass, and I got me a good view right in front of the jail sign that says Fulton County Jail. And so I just started reporting. I got online, took me a couple takes or whatever. And when I got in front of the camera, let me tell you, I was on a magnificent take, yo. Like, I was doing a magnificent take. It was like my third take. Man, I was killing this stand-up, yo. Like, I was moving. I was explaining everything that was going on. Like, I was killing it, right? Then next thing you know, it's this officer that's like zooming on down the street, right? Then he pulls over. He pulls over on the side of the street. He gets out, starts shouting at me he just starts shouting out of nowhere. He was like, you can't be over here. You don't see nobody else on this side of the street. Why are you on this side? Get over to the other side. Sir, you can't be recording over here. And I'm trying not to be distracted, and I continue to talk. And I think he got annoyed because, when you're doing TV. Like, he doesn't know if I'm live. He doesn't know if I'm live. He doesn't know if I'm literally on live TV and thousands and thousands of people are looking at me right now. He doesn't even think about that stuff. He just comes over there and just starts interrupting me while I'm reporting. So I was highly annoyed because that was in the middle of a good take. And then I'm probably gonna have to post that clip because I think you can literally see it in my face when I was like, I think you could probably see it in my face on camera when I was getting annoyed by this dude, by this officer, yo. And so, yeah, that happened. And I'm like, but my thing was I'm over here, I'm not bothering anybody, I'm not causing any harm, I'm not disrupting any peace, I'm not trespassing. What is the problem? And there's no signs, there's no cones, there's nothing that tells me I can't stand right here. There's nothing there. So why are you coming over here in this area telling me I can't be here? If I can't be here, put up some cones, put up some signs. If you put that up, then I wouldn't have went over there in the first place. So yeah, that kind of got me heated that day, and it's already hot outside. So I was all right. So I was heated in both ways. Yeah, I was highly annoyed by these sheriffs, yo. Fulton County sheriffs. Annoying. So that happened, but what I did was I went down the street some more, went on back across the street, and then I was able to get a nice, good angle of the jail. Not as good of an angle as I had right in front of the jail, but I was able to get a pretty good angle. I sent that into Black Information Network, got thousands and thousands of views because they put it on their social media, and they got a lot of thousands and thousands of followers on their social media. So yeah, I did that. So then I went back to my spot. Edited that, got my laptops out and stuff. So I got two laptops. I got the company laptop, and then I got my Mac because I got to edit. I got the Adobe Premiere Pro on my Mac, so I'm editing the videos for Black Information Network, BIN, on my Mac, and then I'm doing all the audio stuff on my iHeartRadio company laptop for GNN 24/7 News and stuff. And so it was crazy because I'm switching laptops, going back and forth. It's just being out there. I was out there by myself, right? This is a one-man show. It's just so much going on. It was crazy. And then you getting the updates and stuff, and especially if you're doing dual coverage for two outlets, it's a whole lot going on. It's kind of chaotic, right? So went back to my spots, edited Black Information Network stuff, sent that in, then got back to 24/7 News because I had to cue something for GNN 24/7 News about every hour and stuff. They either wanted a rap, a voicer, an interview, some audio. They just wanted something every hour. So I had to constantly keep that in mind, right? Keep an eye on my cell phone, then make sure I'm getting BIN necessary amount of coverage as well. So it was a lot. I was out there working, man. So then I got a couple more Trump interviews that I did. I got a couple more on Jefferson Street. And then as the day went on, the sun starts to come out, right? The beautiful sun, the beautiful hot sun. And because when I first got out there, it was 70, it was 73 when I first got out there, right? By 2 o'clock, it was 96, 97 degrees. It was crazy because I actually posted a picture of this on my social media and stuff, a dual picture of me at 7 a.m. and then me again at 2 a.m. And you can see me in the 7 a.m. I'm looking all nice. I got my suit buttoned up, looking all fresh, looking all clean. Then on the other side at 2 p.m., I done ditched the suit jacket, tie all down here, sleeves rolled up, and everything, sweat dripping down my face and stuff. That was me at 2 o'clock p.m. So when I got 96, 97 degrees out there, right? So yeah, man, it was a hot one out there. I will tell you, I was out there for 12 hours. It was brutal, but the job got to get done, man. The story got to get covered. So I was out there. So I was on Jefferson Street for a while. Then I heard, because I was getting some word from some other reporters that was around, that there was there was a lot of activity going on over on, what was the name of that street? It was Rice Street. So I went over, so I walked over to Rice Street, right? A couple of blocks down or whatever. So I walked over to Rice Street, and here come the Fulton County Sheriffs again. I'm walking down Rice Street, right? And I guess it looked like I was about to go in the wrong area, And so this another officer just starts screaming at me out of nowhere. Sir, where are you going? You can't be on this side. You got to be on that side. And I'm like, my thing is with these sheriffs and stuff, it's like, why do y'all have to be so aggressive? Why do you have to be so aggressive, yo? Like, there should be no reason you have to assert yourself with aggression and anger towards me, especially like if you tell me to do something like hey, a simple, hey, excuse me, sir, how are you? Hope all is well. We're not allowing people on this side, so if you could just please go onto this side, that'd be greatly appreciated. That's perfect. Like, okay, I'm going to receive that very well. But if you just start asserting yourself at me, you just start yelling at me, like, it's just so uncalled for, it's so unnecessary. And I'm like I'm gonna be a lot more understanding if you, which trust me and believe, I didn't give the officers no lip. I didn't argue with them. You know, it's a lot that's been going on lately. Y'all already know what's going on. I'm not gonna get into it, but I didn't argue with them, didn't give them no lip, did exactly what they told me to do. I just, obeyed exactly what they told me to do because I didn't want, one thing about me is like, I'm just out there just trying to do my job. I'm not trying to cause any trouble. I'm just trying to do what I'm out here to do what I've been assigned to do, and that's it, and go home. That's it. So yeah, it's like that, man. So I just think, yeah, I'm like, they were really, really aggressive that day, yo. It was crazy. So, and the Secret Service has been aggressive. Okay, I understand that, right? But the sheriff's like, really, like, you ain't got to be aggressive, man. So anyways, I went over to Rice Street. I was on Rice Street, and it was a lot going on Rice Street, yo. You had all these, there was tons more media professionals over there too. So I guess they would, like, I think the uncertainty was we didn't know whether Trump was going to turn himself in, come in on the Jefferson Street side, or was he going to come in on the Rice Street side? So you got reporters set up on each side, right? It was crazy out there. So you got like this long, and I'm talking a long line of media professionals. Then you also got this real long line of Trump supporters as well. That's like mixed. It was really, really weird the way it was set up on that side of the street, because like the Trump supporters was like mixed in with the television news cameras and all that stuff. It was crazy, yo, because you got like the media tents. Then maybe on this side of the tent, you got a big group of Trump supporters, and then some of the Trump supporters had their own tents and flags out there. Yeah, it was crazy the way it was set up. But let me tell you, when I went over there, I got some content, yo. I got some good content. Like, I remember as soon as I got over there, I saw this group, and they had these T-shirts on that said "Blacks for Trump," right? And of course, I had my Black Information Network mic and stuff. I was like, yo, this is perfect. I have to get their interview. So I got his interview, and and he's pretty, like, this guy is pretty big within the Black Voices for Trump, that community or whatever. But yeah, he's pretty big within that. And so I was able to get his interview, and then of course I had the group stand around him and stuff. So that was some really great content. Wish that video is out now. You can go take a look at that right now on YouTube and stuff. But that interview was crazy. That interview was crazy. He was yelling during the interview. I was like, yo, why are you yelling? I was like, the mic's right here, dude. Like, I'm like, you don't have to yell. I'm like, I got the mic right here. So yeah, that was funny. And then another thing, he was cussing during the interview. One thing is hard is like editing out cuss words during an interview. I'm like, why do y'all have to cuss and use profanity? Like, no. So that, that's something there. And then, just calling out Fonnie Willis and all that stuff, and he was just talking about how much they like Trump and all this other stuff. So I did that interview, right? Then I'm gonna tell you this: I walked down the street some more. This was crazy. I mean, well, it wasn't crazy, but it was kind of like it was different, right? It was a little different. It was a little abnormal. So I see these two. Because that's what I wanted. So my goal was to get people on both sides, right? As a journalist, it's very important to get both sides of the story, right? So, of course, I got plenty of Trump supporters, right, that are out there that wanted to support the former president and all that good stuff, right? But what I had been having difficulty finding is the anti-Trump supporters, because there weren't any, or at least I didn't see any on Jefferson Street. I didn't see any anti-Trump supporters on Jefferson Street. So I walked over to Rice Street, and I still don't see any anti-Trump supporters. So I keep walking, walk down some more. I see a person in a costume with a jail outfit on. I said, okay, this guy got to be anti-Trump, right? So I was like, all right, I'll walk over to him. So I get up closer to the guy. This guy has a wolf costume on. First of all, I'm looking at this man like, I'm like, it's like 90-some degrees outside. I know this man is sweating and burning up in his costume, right? He had this big wolf costume on with a jail outfit on too. And then I guess his partner, his partner didn't have a costume on, but his partner had a sign, right, saying Trump drinks unsweetened tea or something like that, something like that. So I was like, okay, great, I got these guys, I'm gonna get their interview, right? So this is hilarious, and I have posted this on my social media. Y'all probably seen the video, right? So as a journalist, when you're doing an interview, the first question you always ask before you start getting into the nitty and the gritty, first question you always ask is, what's your first and last name? Can you spell it? Right? So that's not laughing. So you say your first and last name and can you spell it, right? So then they say their first and last name and they spell it. So I asked the first guy. No. Yeah, I asked the wolf, right? I said, what's your first and last name? And you spell it. So he said and spelled his first and last name, right? Then I asked the second guy. Just went on, asked the second guy, right? So so the first guy, he didn't say his name, he only spelled it. So, but then the other guy actually pronounced his name and then he spelled it, right? So when I went back to the car to go edit the footage, because then once I got high, started going back to the car every time it was time to edit so I could edit in the cold air. And I had just got my new Lexus too, so that air been blasting, yo. I tell you, the air in that car, what? Man, my car get cold within 2 minutes, yo. It's crazy. So, so I went back to edit, right? And I put my headphones on and I'm listening. And so I'm playing because I got to, do the lower thirds and stuff for the, and I got to send it back into the station. So I got to do the lower thirds and stuff. And I'm listening and I hear this man, I'm ready to type. And I hear this man spell his name, right? So I'm typing and I'm in the midst of typing. So I'm listening to this man. He says B-A-D. So I type B-A-D. Then he says, oh, sorry, I said it wrong. He says B-I-G. So I type in B-I-G. Then he says space B-A-D. I hit space and I hit B-A-D. And then he says space W-O-L-F. So now I type space W-O-L-F. And I was like, are you serious right now? I just realized this man just told me his name is Big Bad Wolf. I was like, are you serious right now? It was crazy because when I had the mic up to him and for me, and I know as a journalist, you always supposed to listen during the whole thing. But when I ask the first and last name, sometimes that's just the part where I'm not listening on. But then when I actually ask the question, that's when I start listening. But yeah, that's just advice. Listen to the whole thing. Let that be advice to you. But yeah, that's just one thing I just never did. I just never listened to the name, which I actually need to start doing because sometimes people's names can actually be pretty significant. I mean, you never know because somebody's last name could be something somebody's last name might be Obama and they might be a nephew we don't know. It could be anything. So you definitely got to make sure you listen to the person's name because you never know what their last name might be. It might be Bezos or, anything like that. So yeah, but yeah, so I got back to the car and realized this man told me his name was Big Bad Wolf. So I sit back to my news director. I was like, this is this man's name that he told me. What you want me to do with this? So that was funny. That was different. And, yeah, that was crazy. The social media comments on that was stupid. So, but I found my anti-Trump supporters that are interviewed, so they, helped the whole story come together and stuff like that. So then I went back. So then I walked back. By the time I did that interview, then I went over to an open area where I could do my stand-up and stuff. Do a second stand-up for BIN. Give an update and stuff. Let them know what time and stuff. We're expecting the former president at 7:30 and all that good stuff. It's laying here in Atlanta. So did that, and then, then I walked back over to Jefferson Street. And when I walked back over to Jefferson Street, I just got instantly tired, man. I'm instantly tired. I'm sweating. I go back to the car and get some water. And then I went back to the car and took like a little nap. Just a little nap. Um, so, so I went back to the car, took a little nap. I was thirsty. I was hot. I was sweating. I was literally drenching in, like you literally could have took my clothes and wringed them out. That's how much sweating I was doing up there, yo. It was crazy. And let me tell you about your parents, though. Let me just give a shout out I want to give a shout out to Dad, right? Man, parents be coming in clutch, yo. Because matter of fact, I called Dad because you came out twice, right? Okay, yeah. So I called Dad that morning around like 7 something that morning because I knew he's always up. So I called him at 7 something that morning. I told him, I was like, when I was out there, because I was in the grassy area, the bugs was eating me up. I was so annoyed and I couldn't concentrate. I couldn't concentrate on my reporting. I could not concentrate because the bugs was annoying the crap out of me. And I'm like, if I'm gonna get through this 12-hour day, I need to get some bug spray. So I called Dad. I was like, Dad, can you please bring me some bug spray? So he bought me some bug spray. You bought me some bug spray. You bought me a cell phone tripod. And what else did you bring? Okay. I think, because you didn't bring me no breakfast. I don't know. I'm just playing. No, I had already ate breakfast that morning. But yeah, so yeah, he came out that morning. I think he got there about 9. Yeah, got there about 9 o'clock, right? And then by 3, Dad showed up again. I had called Mom, and I was like, Mom, what are you doing? I was like, what are you up to, right? Mom didn't know I didn't know if Mom knew I was about to set her up. So, because I asked, hey, Mom, what you doing? Try to butter Mom up, right? So I tried to butter Mom up, and then I asked her, I was like, Mom, I don't have anything to eat out here. I was like, I got my chips. I was like, my chips are gone. I was like, my water is gone. I was like, can you please bring me some Popeye's chicken? And she was like, boy, I'm not coming all the way up there. I'm in the middle of selling a house. Or some mom said. It was funny, right? And so then she was like, well, call your daddy. He out and about. He might be able to bring you some. So I called. Did I even call you or you just showed up? Showed up. Okay, yeah. So it was crazy. Dad actually showed up. And he showed up on the scene. The Fulton County Sheriff was giving him a hard time too. He kept telling him, he was saying, look, I'm just bringing my reporter some lunch. That's it, and then I'm out. And they was still giving this man a hard time. And yeah, it was crazy. And he had his podcast uniform on and everything. Not sure if that really helped the situation, but I don't think so. Shout out to the B2M podcast. So needless to say, he was able to get over there, yo. And when I tell you, when I seen Dad, and I think, it's crazy. I don't know if I saw him first or I seen the chicken first or the Popeyes box. But needless to say, I was walking to the car. And I hear somebody saying my name, and I'm thinking it's one of the reporters or something like that. So I turn around, and I see Dad with It was almost like Dad was like glowing. It's like Dad, you see Dad, he got a drink in one hand, a beverage in one hand, and then he has a food box in another hand. And I'm running full speed to Dad. I'm like, Dad has food. And then next thing you know, it's Popeye's chicken, yo. I was literally just telling Mom about this Popeye's chicken. Like, literally, I think I went to sleep when I took my nap. I think I went to sleep dreaming about Popeye's chicken. And Dad showed up with Popeye's chicken. I was like, wow, chicken. It was crazy, yo. Like, literally, let me tell you, that was probably, I don't know. It was like, when you so hungry. And it's just like, because like you so hungry and you can't do nothing about it. I mean, I could have done something about it, but I can't. The reason I couldn't go and get me nothing is because 1, you never know what's going to happen. So you always got to stay on the scene and it's just me. And then 2, I could not take chances of losing that good parking space because I didn't bring any cones with me to like mark my parking space or whatever. Oh, no, no. it was some news outlets out there that had cones blocking their parking spots, which I'm mad I didn't come up with the idea my dang self. But yeah, so if I'd have bought cones, I'd have been just, you didn't have cones on the truck. Did you have cones? You didn't have cones. Yeah, so I couldn't have blocked my parking spot if you had, came to go give me something to eat. But yeah, that was crazy, yo. So dad had to, and let me tell you, when I tell you I devoured that, it was funny. Cause I think I had my new car less than a week. And I said, I laid down the ground rules. I said, there will be no eating in my car. Like nobody is eating nothing. And the next thing you know, dad show up with the chicken, yo. And I said, we gonna go sit in this cool air. Man, I took that chicken. Tell me why I'm eating the most greasiest food in the world in my new car. I forgot all about my rules I done made up. I said, I'm eating this chicken. I said, I'm drinking this beverage. I think it was what was it, a Sprite? Yeah, it was Sprite or something like that. I was like, and it was crazy because I had stopped drinking soda. And dad brought me a Sprite, told that thing up. I said, look, I'm drinking it. I don't care. I need something to drink. So, so yeah, man, that was that experience, and it was crazy. As soon as I got finished with the chicken, as soon as I got finished with the chicken, dad was still there. Then I got a text message from my news director with some more good news. He told me, because I'm part-time at iHeart, so I can't go over 40 hours or whatever, right? Because I had already been, I think that was a full-time week for me because I've been filling in for a couple of shifts or whatever. So that was a full-time week for me. And then my news director sent me a text saying, Tyrik, Tyrik, just so you don't be over your hours, you're good to go home and stuff. Yo, I was thrilled. I was like, I gotta be in the sun if I go home. I was like, yes. I was like, I gotta have me a good meal. I have me some good eats. Got me something to drink, and I gotta go home. What? Like, it's crazy, right? So I actually did go home before Trump showed up. Listen, it was like, what was it, like 4, 5 o'clock? I was like, look, I ain't got time to keep waiting on this man. I was like, this man taking his sweet little time. But I was like, I ain't got time to wait on him. Which is a good thing, because I'm like, well, I don't expect him to get out of the motorcade and talk to the press. I don't expect him to do that. So if he's not doing that, then, I might as well go. So, because especially since we're not video, like we're, I'm radio. So I don't really have to capture any footage or anything like that. So yeah, I just packed up, and dad helped me pack up, and we went on home, and I got a couple of live videos and stuff. And yeah, and then, I'm going to tell you, and it was another great thing too, because so we had, actually, I think dad had got while we was in the car while I was eating my chicken, dad had got a call or something like that. And we had 2 pending clients that wanted to come film podcasts at the studio, right? And so, I got the camera with me because I'm filming stuff for BIN. And I was like, my news director told me I could go ahead and leave. And so I checked with BIN. I was glad, because let me tell you something. I was like, we going back to the studio to make this money. Like, we going to go make this business money. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, I'm able to make money on both sides. And what time they want to film, we'll be there. So, I help you out or whatever. I'm tired. But shoot, that money, them pointers got me energized. So, we're going to go film this stuff at the studio, man. So yeah, man, and needless to say, that's how that day went. And then when I got back to the house, took a shower, got in the shower. I think I was in the shower for about an hour, yo. That's how dirty I just felt, because it was just so hot. It was so sweaty and everything. And I had on a white dress shirt, and you can see, when you're wearing a white dress shirt, you can see the dirt on it. And so when I seen that, I was like, yeah, I need to be in here for about an hour. I got to make sure I get, scrub a dub real good. So I did that and took a shower, then went downstairs, and then turned the TV on WSB. And then I just started watching, then seen Trump's arrival and stuff like that. And needless to say, he didn't get out and talk to the press. So I'm like, well, yeah, it was no need for me to stay. So, hey, I got all I needed. Got all my sound, stand-ups, all that good stuff. And so I just watched it at home that night. And then after he went off, then watched the Falcons game and stuff. And then that's pretty much how that day went. So, yeah. And that's how that is how that day went, covering the Trump stuff. I'm trying to think, did I leave anything out? I don't think so. What I will tell you this, Trump supporters are very entertaining. You will get, if you had, like, when you interviewing Trump people, you gonna get, it's hard because, like, as a reporter, like, you know, as a journalist and stuff, you try not to be biased and stuff, can't really show emotion and stuff, but when you interviewing them, it'd be hard not to laugh sometimes. Just some of the stuff they be saying, I just like, yo, I'd be cracking up inside. I'm like, they are some entertaining people. It is crazy, yo. It was crazy, yo. So, but that wraps it up for this episode of NJP, man. Make sure y'all stay connected with us, man. Go follow Navigating Journalism Podcast on social media platforms, Instagram, Navigating Journalism Podcast. Make sure you go give us that follow, comment on the recent picture, recent graphic, give us likes on all the pictures and all that good stuff. Also, make sure you guys stay connected with me, Tyrik Wynn. You guys can go follow me on Instagram at TyrikWynn.iHeartRadio. Also on Twitter, Tyrik Wynn TV. Threads, TyrikWynn.iHeartRadio. Facebook, Tyrik Wynn, iHeartRadio, LinkedIn, Tyrik Wynn. And then also make sure you guys on this video, make sure you like, make sure you comment, make sure you subscribe. Very important. Really helps me out tremendously. Also on the other podcast platforms, make sure you go to those other platforms, like and follow the podcast there. Download the podcast. Podcast downloads are really, really important. That's something I'm promoting strongly. I really, really need some downloads. I need y'all to download heavily. Also, make sure you share this episode with some people. Share it on your social media pages and stuff like that. This is very important because I want this podcast to be famous around journalists. You know how they say a household name? This needs to be a newsroom hold name. If that's a thing. This needs to be a newsroom hold name, Navigating Journalism Podcast. This is going to be a big thing, man. So tap in with me, get involved in stuff. If you're a journalist, you want to come on the show, I would love to have you come on the show. Just comment down below, shoot me a DM, TyrikWynn.iHeartRadio, whatever the case may be, get in contact with me. Would love to have you on the show, so we can talk about how you have navigated the journalism industry, man. So, like I said, appreciate y'all. So, one more thing. Forgot my merch. My merch is out, man. Tyrik Wynn collection, yo. It's crazy, man. Listen, just relaunched the Tyrik Wynn collection. There's plenty of merch you can get. You can get some NJP merch, Navigating Journalism Podcast merch. There is some journalism merch on there as well. There's also, I got a podcaster t-shirt that says, if you're a podcaster, it says podcaster on it. Then I got Tyrik Wynn collection at the bottom of it, and then there's some other personalized Tyrik Wynn stuff with a logo and all that stuff, and then a lot of inspirational stuff on there, CEO, all that good stuff. So make sure you tap in with the Tyrik Wynn collection. I'll put the link in the comments. You can also go to the link in my bio, the link in my Instagram bio as well. Click that link and go purchase you some merch. I would greatly, greatly, greatly appreciate that because, hey, listen. That helps keep this podcast going, man. So, hey, this is a revenue generating podcast, man, and we generating revenue all across the spectrum, yo. So make sure you tap in with your boy. Hey, listen, once again, appreciate y'all so much for tuning in. This has been Navigating Journalism Podcast. I'm your host, Tyrik Wynn. Catch y'all next time.